Yeah.
What's up, party animals? Let's forget about all the bad decisions you made this past weekend and join the gang as we go beyond the party. You're now listening to the Beyond the Party podcast.
What's up, guys? Beyond the Party, episode 12. We are happy to be here. KP's not here with us this week, but she'll be back next week. So just me, Grace, and our special guest that I'm not going to announce yet because me and Grace are going to talk about our weekends. What's up, Grace? How you doing?
Great. Yeah, a little weekend recap. Okay, so Friday and Saturday. I have to say I feel like I kind of live like a Hannah Montana life on the weekends. So Friday and Saturday night I was working out on the town doing my marketing, media, videography. But then during the days I was doing very wholesome stuff. So I went to the farmer's market, I was doing fun stuff with my dog. But then at night, yeah, we went absolutely crazy. So Tradesman's has a new fog machine and like a bunch of new lights, so it's like really turning into, it's almost like looking like U-Bahn now, and U-Bahn had the Christmas in July party on Friday night, so it was really fun.
Oh, what about Saturday?
Saturday, I was just kind of out doing the same thing, running around. So U-Bahn is doing their Surfside Saturday. So it's a $5 Surfside and then a green tea shot, which is a crazy deal. And so people go crazy for that. So it was really fun. People, the bartenders get up on the bar and do the shots from the top of the bar, which I think is my favorite thing that they do. So yeah, that was fun.
I feel like Tradesman's definitely like needed to up it a little bit.
I agree. I mean, it's the barbecue and whiskey bar. And they have so many good bartenders there. I love all of them, but we have loyal bartenders there. So some of the other venues, that bartenders go back and forth from the other ones. But the Tradesman's bartenders are the Tradesman's bartenders. So they're great. And so I was like, we really need to up this. So Josh, the manager there, and Mike do a really great job of making it look like the nightlife spot to be. Right. And Vision was DJing, and it was really fun. He was standing up on the tables, and I was standing up on the table too. And we had the fog machine going, and it was awesome. I felt like I was like at a concert.
That's awesome. Yeah. The weather was like really nice this weekend, so I feel like everywhere's kind of packed.
Yeah.
I was at JD McGillicuddy's Friday, which was pretty packed in Manayunk, and then Saturday I was at Fido, and I was telling you before, it was like all people from London at the bar. So I showed up, and since they had the Premier League in Philly at the Link, so that's why, if you guys were wondering, I said all people from London were there. And they're all in the soccer jerseys, and they come up to me beforehand. They're like, "Oh, can you like play our theme song?" Like I don't know, all this stuff, and I was like, "I don't have that stuff. I'm sorry." And I was like thrown off a little bit. I was like, "Fuck! Like, are they gonna like vibe like with this music? Like, they're not from here." Like, I was kind of like, "What should I play?" And then I started playing, and they knew like I probably like 85% of the songs, but I was like playing some songs, and they knew, they were like, I'm trying to think of like what songs, like maybe like probably like Chris Brown. I was playing Chris Brown songs, and they didn't even know like what the songs were. They would stop dancing and just like look around, and I was just like very like thrown off by it, and I was like, fuck, like I got to get out of this or something. Yeah.
Do you think like since Fido is technically an Irish pub, that like people from London, Ireland, England were like coming over and being like, oh, let's go to the Irish pub, it's gonna feel like the pub in there, and maybe, it was kind of more of like clubby songs? I
know Fido is like I think they like promote that they're like a soccer bar. Yeah. So like they have like all the games on beforehand.
Yeah.
So that's what I think like happened. Like they all like went to watch the game.
Yeah, and just stayed.
Then I showed up.
You're like, we're here to party.
Yeah, but no, it wound up being like a really good night too. So
that's good.
Yeah, I feel like the older people just had no idea what I was playing, and they left.
Yeah,
but
that's across the board kind of sometimes. I feel like
right.
Yeah. You remember some of the requests they made? I think you said they had some requests.
I don't really remember specific requests. They're on these songs like I never heard of, an artist that like I never listened to. So
it sounds like we've got to go over there.
Yeah, I gotta tap
go out
into
for a night. Yeah,
I gotta tap into the London music industry.
Yeah,
but this week we have a special guest on, good friend of mine, K Fry. Welcome, K Fry. How you doing?
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me. I think this is first podcast I've done. Definitely first solo pod. I think there might have been one. We're just gonna say this is number one.
Oh, awesome!
Welcome.
Yeah,
very exciting.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Taking his podcast virginity. Nice.
Whoa. You always remember your first, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Happy we could be it.
It's getting weird already.
God. But how was your weekend?
It was good, man. I'm like my memory is like totally shot. So I
Same thing happens to me. Yeah.
Dude, I live and die by Google Calendar, so I literally would have to look at my phone to jump back. But if I can remember correctly, oh no, I was in Kiss Kiss. I was at AC on Saturday, but started off Vesper brunch that day. Friday, I think Friday I was at Uban. I think. I don't know. Like I said, I live and die by Google Calendar.
Grace, do you remember?
Dude, the grid goes off, then I'm in trouble. But yeah, I believe I was definitely in Philly on Friday, and then the next afternoon was Philly for brunch, and then I had Kiss Kiss that night, AC. Yeah, it was a fun time. Kiss Kiss was great. Always a fun time. Shout out to Jason Weiss, Double Down Entertainment. They set that up. But yeah, Kiss Kiss, that was always a great time. Played a lot of different stuff. I like being able to go places where, you know, I Philly, it seems like mainly hip hop esque, you know, for the most part. A lot of trap, a lot of hip hop, Jersey Club type stuff. But I really like going down to AC where you can kind of play a little bit of like Bila Funk and different types of styles.
Hop around.
And also it's stuff where like you got to think like that's like more of a, believe it or not, I know for us that's like our backyard, but that's a destination for a lot of people. So people are going there to specifically just have a good time. So that's the crowd you want, versus when you go, you might go somewhere in Philly and that might be literally their city. And you've seen it. There's the people that they literally take a photo, or not photo, they take a video for like 15 seconds of them looking like they're having a good time and they sit right back down.
Yeah.
And that's something that really scuffs my J's, I guess. But, but no, nonetheless, it was a great time, great crowd. Everybody had a good time. I had a good time. Everyone was safe. Success. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's backtrack a little bit. How did you get into music? Where are you from? How did you kind of start, you know, getting into nightlife and DJing? Yeah,
it's a pretty long story, but I'll try to sum it up. So I started off getting into music. I was like, I don't even know. It was right before, like I'd say I was like 10, getting into like drumming. And I started off as a drummer. It was literally just like kind of some Nick Cannon drumline type stuff where I was the guy that was faking that could read notes. I couldn't read the notes for some reason. I don't know. I think it was just ADD just wasn't allowing me to want to allocate the time and the resource and bandwidth to learn this. But I thought it was really cool what people were doing. So like I would just have the best guy go do it. Like they'd be like, oh, we just got this new thing. I'd be like, all right, let me see you do it. He'd do it, and I'd be like, all right, and then I'd just go ahead and do it right away. And everybody thought I could read, and I remember like getting put into kind of the more advanced classes at that time and everything too. And it wasn't until I was going into like middle school and high school where they were really like having the teachers test you. And the guy, he definitely pulled me off to the side and was like, I want you to clap out these notes for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was just trying to stall, and I'm like, what? I mean, like, what do you, you know what I mean? Like, you're just like trying to, I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, what notes? Like, you clap them out. It's like, well, you know, like clap them out. And I'm just, at that point, I was found out. But then also around that same time, not too long around that time, I guess you could call it divine intervention, I terribly broke my arm playing basketball. And it was so broken to the point where I couldn't even turn my hand over.
Oh, geez.
And I couldn't even make a fist. So like, yeah, I had to go through like rehab for that. So grabbing sticks was totally out of the question.
Right. Yeah.
But I was still interested in music because from growing up, I'm apparently like the only thing that could calm me down as like an infant was my parents would have to go and like turn the radio on. Because I would like go up and bang on the radio the whole time and act like a nut job. And the only thing that got me to stop is they would turn it on and I would just sit there and just like bop,
oh my gosh,
like chill.
It's in your bones.
So like I've always had the interest in music and I've always been a fan. And I remember seeing like these little like it was like a DJ toy that you could, I'll say it's MIDI for the sake of conversation. Like I'll say it's a MIDI controller, but at the time I didn't even know what that was. But it was like a MIDI controller DJ thing that I thought was pretty cool. And from there, that was like the first interest, and that was around 13 years old. And then one thing led to the next, an interest turned into a hobby. And then that hobby, like other family members started to see that interest as like a spark, and they were just really just fanning the flames by just everybody just encouraging, like, hey, like get him this stuff.
Yeah,
and then one day my mom brought me and surprised me by taking me into Guitar Center. And I knew at the time, like, she could not afford it. and we were looking at CDJs, and they were like 800 Mark IIs.
Mm-hmm.
If like, I mean, we know where we're at now, where we're at like 3,000.
Oh my gosh!
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like these things, they're not now what we have. They're like computers, right? Like a CDJ is literally like a damn computer in itself. But then they were just really fancy CD players. That's all they were. And that was the first thing I had. And I also saved up and was like selling CDs, like burnt CDs, as a young kid, like for like $5 a piece, because people were like hearing what I was listening to. They're like, "Oh, can I have that?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Like $5, and I would save up all that money to buy more gear. It was just one thing leading into the next, and yeah, and then it wasn't until about, I'll say I was like 18, is when I felt like I started taking it seriously by trying to like go out to like New York and stuff, and that's when I really thought I had stuff known. But like, it was definitely like, that's when the real blood, sweat, and tears, I felt like, started coming into it, because that's when you're starting to get your heart broken and stuff like that. Like, you know, and if I feel like anybody listening to it, if you haven't had that yet, like, oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen a few times. Like, you know what I mean? But that's honestly life. It's not just like nightlife. It's literally just life in general, right? Like, there's gonna be some bitterness in the sweetness of the cake. You feel me?
Right.
So like,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, as in like the inception. But I think that kind of sums up just the beginning of the DJing or like music. That I don't think I left anything out.
Where'd you get your name from?
My name is just really abbreviation of my full name. So I remember when I was like back when AOL screen names were cool. Or when people were using, people, like that's how we talked. I wasn't texting anybody. You would just get home, and then you'd wait to hear the door open or whatever sound that you had on your computer, and you'd see your friends, go ahead and chat with your friends. But another cool thing is anytime like you're making new screen names all the time, right? Like you're making new screen. If you were like a little kid and you got in a relationship with somebody, it's like right. It's like so and so loves so and so.
LUVS.
Yep, exactly. So you know it's real, right? But no, like it was around that time was when Jennifer Lopez came out with that one album, and she started calling herself J-Lo. I think, was the album called J-Lo? I don't know, but she started calling herself J-Lo. And I remember like just being like, well, that doesn't, like, J-Lo, why is she J-Lo now? And somebody was like, those are initials. I'm like, no, that's not how initials work, guys. Like that's not.
Too many letters.
Yeah, I was like, that's not how initials work. Like it would be JL or J, then whatever her middle name is, and L. And like, just me being a stupid kid, I was like, well, she's J-Lo, then I'm K-Fry. Like, like just dorky kid. And then of course, like thinking I'm funny, I went home, and so I made my screen name like K-Fry something. And then going into the next school, this kid was at the lunch table, and he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna start calling everybody by their screen names. He did that for a day, but mine's the only one that stuck.
Oh my gosh, like, that's so funny.
I mean, like my government name's Kyle, so like that's boring. Everybody's sorry, mom, but that's boring. But like, there's an empty room right now, and there's probably still 5 Kyles in here. You know? So like they had to have something to distinguish me. So it was like, rather than just being like Kyle F, they'd be like, oh, that's K-Fry. Oh, it's K-Fry. And that was even before me striving to be any type of DJ or artist. You know, so when it came down to thinking of a name, I wasn't creative in the sense of being like, oh, I'm going to be DJ Venom something. I don't know. But I was just like, I'll just go with what people are already calling me, and just went with K-Fry. And the French fry thing is another thing. It was pretty much all jokes, honestly. Everything around me, it was people kind of taking stuff and trying to like put a joke on me, and me just like going, okay, I'm going to own that. Like even the French fry thing. People would be like, oh, French fry. Like they would try to poke fun at me. Like, French fry. And then I would get like Frylock. Oh, DJ Frylock. And then I'm sitting back there and I'm connecting the dots like, hey, like I fuck with French fries. Like honestly, like I fuck with Frylock from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And if you don't know, Frylock and Aqua Teen, it's in New Jersey. So I was just like, you know what, man? Like, yeah, I'm the French fry guy. I'm Frylock.
Like, lean into it, right?
So like, put it on shirts and stuff, and now I'm just running with it. So like, thanks guys to all my bullies. Thanks, I appreciate it. It's awesome.
Fuel the fire.
Yeah, for real.
That's awesome.
Did you have like a mentor or anything that like kind of helped you get into bars and clubs, like when you first started doing that? I know you said you kind of just like grew up, kind of, you know, you just took it by, you know, your family supporting you, stuff like that. But it's hard to get into bars and clubs and actual nightlife by yourself.
For sure.
So did you have anybody that really like led you in the right direction?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. For a while, honestly, there was nobody. In the beginning, it was like I was really just watching people online. You know, I was looking up like Jazzy Jeff videos, DJ AM videos, DJ Craze videos. I remember Craze and Clever used to do stuff together, like I was dropping bars here. And then, but yeah, there's just anybody along those lists, A-Track, you know, and I was just watching these guys because. I mean, like growing up I was growing up in like northern Burlington area of Jersey, so that's pretty much just like farms. It's just farms, a Columbus market. There's a base around there.
Columbus market.
Yeah, see,
I love it there. Actually,
there if you know, you know.
But yeah, you're right.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's about that, and then it's just like everywhere else in New Jersey. It's just surrounded by a border of just infinite Wawas. So yeah, but growing up out there, you can imagine there was really nobody interested in any type of music really like that. Everybody was really listening to country music. I mean, not everybody, but there wasn't really anybody that was DJing, or there wasn't really anybody that was interested in producing like either electronic music or even hip hop per se. You know, not in my class, not many. I mean, they weren't vocal about it if they were doing it. But yeah, with that, I didn't have any mentors, so I really was just watching people online, just trying to study people online, trying to figure out how I could get into clubs and everything, and then I just started going out, and I think this is kind of everybody's common denominator is they really just start showing up at places, and stuff just kind of happens. Like you just gotta just be in the room. As stupid as that sounds, it's just like what do they say in the gym, right? It's that the hardest part is showing up.
Yeah,
sure. Everybody says like it's the biggest thing. You're just like, man, I got to show up. That's all I got to do is show up. And it's the same thing with this stuff too. So I really just got to say, all I did was just start popping out to different spots. I remember going to a spot in Cherry Hill, and with a few friends, I looked up and I saw a DJ that I kind of had a connection with. And what I mean is my brother, one of his first jobs is he worked in Acme back in the day. And my brother's a graphic designer. So just like me, we kind of figured out what we wanted to do pretty early. So when he was working at Acme, he was still doing this is the beginning of him doing the graphic design stuff. And he comes and shows me, he's like, yeah, I just did a design for a DJ. He's like, he's my coworker and everything here at Acme. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm looking at it, and like it's this like pretty cool logo. I'm like, all right, that's pretty interesting. Like, you know, like whatever. Anyways, flash forward, we're at Vera in Cherry Hill, and I look up, I see the DJ, and I'm like, that's the guy that my brother made the logo for. Like, you know,
it's a small world.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, like that was years ago, and I'm tell my friend the story real quick, and he's like, are you gonna go up and say anything? I'm like, man, like what? I'm about to name drop a guy from Acme. Like he doesn't remember this guy. Like no disrespect to my brother, but it just seems weird. The optics, it doesn't seem weird. I mean, it doesn't seem good.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just sitting there, and I already just like I shoot that down, and I'm just sitting there and just like kind of just vibing out, listening. And that's another thing too. If you ever see me in the club, like for the most part, if I'm not DJing,
chilling,
you'll probably catch me just chilling in the cut.
Yeah.
You'll probably, rather than surrounded by like drinks, you'll. And other people have seen it. You'll see me surrounded by plates of food. That's
Amazing.
happened. Like there's been spots where like you'll walk in the corner and it's like, okay, bro, just when I'm just like by myself,
Post it up,
just rubbing, yo. But as long as there's good music, I'm cool. I'm chilling. But anyways, I'm just vibing out, just listening to the music. And at one point, he puts on a like Soulja Boy at a funny point in the night, and I remember just laughing. I thought it was hilarious, and I laughed, and I remember just like laughing literally out loud. And I look over, and he's looking right at me. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, all right, this can either be really good or really bad. So it's like, let me just try and turn this into something really good. So I look up, like, this is possibly my opportunity. So I go to walk up, and he lets me come through. And before I get to even say anything, I'm like, hey, man, I don't know if you remember. And he just goes, Acme! And like, freaks out.
That's great.
Freaks out. And I'm just like, oh, and he's super like welcoming and everything. Wow. And he's always been like that. And since then, he's kind of been like Big Brother. And it was DJ 9. So
oh my
that was,
gosh!
Yeah,
wow,
so
that's
that
awesome.
was 9 because he grew up neighboring town. So yeah, that was beginning of meeting him. And I remember thinking like, cool. I remember thinking that was beginning of meeting him. So that was probably the first person that I really met. Not saying that he's not a mentor, but because I definitely have like called him up and stuff for advice here and there, and had a ton of great conversations with him in person and on the phone. But around that same year was he tagged me and he tagged some people in some of my stuff online because that's when he started following me. And then he started tagging some of the Senate DJs, and one of them specifically is DJ Soho. And I jokingly was calling Soho like nightlife dad for like the first 2 years of hanging out. Like literally, I'd come into a club and be like, "Yo, Pop," and everybody would turn and it's like, "What?" Or like we'd be going out to eat or whatever, be like, "Thanks, Dad." And like
resemblance is not there.
Yeah, exactly. And then also too, he would have had to had like a kid when he was what, like 9 or something. Like, but I don't even know. But yeah, really to flash forward, like first. One of my biggest big brothers, I'll say, and like mentors for sure, is definitely Soho, and even still to this day. But yeah, Soho, Nine, a lot of the Senate cats, Casper, they've all been really good at anytime I've had questions or felt frustrated or like sometimes you feel like you kind of want to jump off the ledge career wise because I feel like that's kind of happened to all of us at some point in time.
Definitely.
Shoot, I'll admit it, it's happened to me multiple times. And I've had mentors and friends both had to tell me like, "Yo, like chill the fuck out."
Yeah, you're good.
Like, because really that's what it is. Like sometimes we just freak out and it's not that serious. Like, but the Senate guys have really been big brothers in a lot of this and still are. So shout outs to those guys. It's family for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, it's good having like a group of people in the same industry around you. That could always help and just building that connection.
Would you say that because of those people and because they're so Philly centric, is that why you're choosing to pursue Philly more over so like New York? Because your proximity in Jersey is kind of, I feel like you can go either way, or is New York like not out of the question for you?
New York's definitely not out of the question. I wouldn't put it anywhere out of the question, and this is no disrespect to Philly at all, but I'm focusing on other areas just because I think there's been this like notion of like us looking at territories as places to be conquered, and I think anybody that's from Philly would probably agree that like Philly's not really like a place to be conquered. It's more like a beast. Like it's more like it's like how they look at Las Vegas as like what it eats you, or like or New York they eat you up and spit you out. Right? That's like a living thing. It's a living, breathing thing. So if it was like a territory, then that's somewhere where you could claim you change. Like no, this place it's changing on its own with or without you. You know? So I don't look at it as like as like that territory where I'm trying to be like the man out here. If anything, like like you want to be somebody that that I guess is relevant seems like such like a icky word to me. I guess you want to be like, like when people are when the opportunities arise, you want to have your name put into that fishbowl to possibly be pulled out. But that's what I'm trying to get into, right? And I feel like at least at this point, I think I can humbly say that at least I'm somewhere in that fishbowl, hopefully. And with that, if I can check that off, then I'm happy. And now I'm trying to see like how I can use my resources here to help people here, and then also help people that are trying to come and experience here, so I can also go and do that in their cities, and because from what I'm finding out to a lot of people that I look up to in just the artist community in general, what they're saying is they're like, dude, you got to travel, like, because you really got to see like this ain't it, like, like, cause, and once again, this is no disrespect to Philly, this is anywhere, this is anybody's hometown, just copy paste insert your hometown. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's not, this isn't personal to anybody, but it's just what I've been hearing from all of them is they're like, listen, you gotta leave, you gotta experience other things, like it's only to your benefit. And I just don't, the last thing I want to do is be a big fish in a small pond. So right now I'm trying to check out other avenues. So New York is definitely not out of the question. I want to get back in there, but that's even a whole other beast in itself. You know what I mean? Because Philly's pretty big, right? Like it seems like it is at least. But then when you put it in comparison to New York City,
completely different.
Absolutely, it almost seems like it's nothing.
And I feel like the way things just operate are so different too. And like just the way people promote different events and getting into different places. It's very, very different the way things operate in different cities. Have you played in any other cities aside from Philly and New York?
I gotta say, I mean, I've done demos. So I've done demos for like certain brands and stuff. So like in different parts of California.
Oh, dope.
And done demos in like Detroit. But as far as doing like clubs and sets in different different cities, I wouldn't say that. Not necessarily. Let's put it this way. Like, you know how when you finish a set, you place your sticker, the whole cheesy tradition of placing your sticker on the booth. My sticker is not really in those cities.
Right. I got you. Yeah.
You know what I
Not
mean?
yet.
Not yet.
Coming
not
soon.
Yet. Yeah,
Yes.
we're working on it. Eventually.
Do you have a dream venue that you want to
Dream
play?
venue.
Yeah.
Oh man. So honestly, it's not even. I don't even think they're doing anything yet, or like anymore with it. But dream venue. So I'm gonna take. I'm not gonna consider festivals just because I'm gonna say that's almost like a separate thing, because the festival itself isn't. That's not necessarily a venue. That's almost like its own movement, like its own platform. But as far as like a venue that I would honestly like to play, just to even go to and experience a concert, is Red Rocks.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
And, like, that would be absolutely amazing, just because like I still got to check out Brooklyn Mirage and everything. That looks cool, and there's a lot of really cool venues out there, but that one's a natural venue. Like, it's literally just like, it's not really, it's just there. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even know how to describe it. Like, it's one of the coolest, like, awe-inspiring venues that I can think of. And I feel like not many people would necessarily think of that, because you're probably thinking I would say like a club or something within a city. But if I'm trying to like think outside of the box and be like, all right, if I can only do one place, like, you know, if I wanted to do one place and do like a huge show, it would probably be there, because that would be insane.
Awesome.
And then also too, as the performer, it's the opposite. Being that it's an amphitheater, you're looking at the crowd. Like, the crowd's up. Like, that's insane to me. And I could not imagine like seeing like all the lights of phones like that.
Yeah.
So I'd be there for them. If like, I feel like anybody that plays there, like, that's probably got to be a treat for them. Like, more than anything. Like, shoot.
That's awesome.
So that's where I'm going. Red Rocks.
What a great way to look at it. And you talk a lot about like your audience, and you're like very humble when you talk about it. So when you do demos or when you produce for yourself, how much of it are you thinking about the audience, or are you really thinking, I'm putting my heart and soul in because I like this music, rather than playing at like, you know, a U-Bahn or a Tradesman's, when you really have to cater to exactly the crowd that's their age and, you know, people who are there. So how much really is it for you, and how much is it for them?
That's a good question too. And if I really think about it, it's tough. It's like, it really is a hybrid, and I feel like it has to be a hybrid for anybody to be successful as like as a DJ, because I mean, let's get it straight. Like, anybody can. There are people who are like, oh, like, nobody can DJ. Nobody can just like, not just anybody can DJ. I don't agree. I think anybody can DJ in the sense of like, yeah, like anybody can go ahead. I could probably teach somebody in 20 minutes to play songs, launch tracks, load up tracks, play songs. That's what DJing is, right? Like, but if you want to be a great DJ or a good DJ or stand out, then yeah, you have to be doing both of looking at what the crowd wants, and then also thinking about what are you bringing to the table. Because honestly, the beginning of DJing, we're bringing to the table this new sound to other people too. It's not just like me giving you what you want to hear, like the tracks that we know we're gonna play, like insert the hot track of the month, like even though somebody's gonna request it anyway, like the track that gets most requested, insert that track. Anybody's gonna play it. You're gonna guarantee to get that. What else are you playing though? Like, where are you filling in the blanks? Like, I know if I were to ask you right now, anybody it's in nightlife, you work in marketing, right? So like, anybody, when you're coming out, if you're coming out at peak moment of the night, if I'm like, give me 5 tracks that you think are the hot track, you're gonna probably have similar tracks, right? That's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But my thing is like, we already know those are gonna get checked off. What else are you doing? So like, what are you doing in the beginning of the night? What are you doing at the end of the night? What are you doing in like the middle, where like, you know, those spots where you gotta you have this type of set, right? That's that like, let me think of like, if we're at an open format spot, then that means we're playing all types of genres. So I gotta transition from this genre that's a totally different energy and pace to this genre, right? What am I doing to fill in the blanks? Like, am I just starting and stopping? Or like, am I doing some creative transition where like I'm taking you for a whirlwind, or like, or am I doing something funny that's gonna make you laugh, or am I doing something that's gonna make you like go back and be like, oh my god, I haven't heard this song since I was like a little kid, like, you know, like, what am I doing? Like, what, like, so that's where you have to kind of you're doing a mixture of thinking of your audience, because you have to, like I said, but on the other side, you do have to give them a taste of yourself too. Like,
Yeah.
You know, like you do have to give them a little bit of what your interest is. Like it's because if you don't, then you're not really being true as an artist. And I think if there's definitely a difference between anybody can DJ, but not everybody can be an artist, right? And there's like a fine line that you cross over once you start actually looking at it this way and breaking down your sets. And trying to actually, like, I always look at it as like literally being a chef and like whipping up something for people. So like looking at all these different ingredients, like, you know, and how I look at it is like literally like there's all these ingredients. You're gonna have stuff that's like, we're gonna have like our slow tracks, we're gonna have our really fast paced tracks, we're gonna have like a little bit of this, and then I'm also gonna pepper in some mic work, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gotta be a balance of everything though. And then on top of that too, if it's going to be your dish, like what spice are you bringing that's different than the spice that I'm bringing? Yeah. So like that's where I'm saying like I feel like it has to be a hybrid.
Absolutely.
Where you're listening to yourself and the people. Sorry, I'm super long-winded with
this. No, it's good.
And great answers.
I feel like in the rat race that is, you know, the music industry, and people are trying so hard to make it now because there is a lot of people who are pursuing their passions now, I think more than ever. I think it might be hard to stay true to yourself, and I think it's easy to lose yourself just by playing exactly what the venue wants you to play, or if you're getting a bunch of requests, you playing them all in order just so everyone's there and having fun and being happy and dancing. And is there ever a time in your career where you had to recenter and felt, okay, maybe I'm doing too much for everybody else and I'm not putting enough of myself into it?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that comes in, it's like seasonal. It's like a cyclical thing. There's going to be times like even there's artists aren't always coming out with projects like day after day after day after day. Like you got to have a time to go back, reset, take some rest, find inspiration, come up with something new. And if you're not doing that, if you're not taking that time to reset, like rest, come up with something new, then how are you going to create something new? I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that as in like it's not possible. I'm saying I don't personally know. Not without a team, you know, like not without maybe a team of people behind the scenes that are cooking that stuff up that I'm going back to, you know. But if it's just me, there's been plenty of times where I've purposely gone out of my way to take time off because I wanted to go back and then find inspiration or just like take a break. Because like because I also got to realize why I got into this stuff. I got into it because I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I really like taking a crowd of people and taking the energy here and then being able to take it in so many different ways, you know. And anytime that I find myself at a set where I'm going like, man, like, what am I doing here? That's when I'm like, all right, we need to take a break. Like, whether it's like an actual vacation or, which I haven't taken, I need to take a vacation. Whether it's an actual vacation or it's literally just like, dude, I just need to like go order food, chill at home for the weekend and just like sit with the dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, absolutely. And that's totally fine. But that reset needs to happen because it's so easy to like make yourself dull in this stuff. Like, it's definitely so easy. And I don't want to be stale. That's the last thing I want to be. And a lot of times too, like I could play the same sets all the time, and like there are going to be similarities for sure in all the sets when you come to watch. Like I can't help it. But also too, like I'm thinking the people that are coming aren't the only people that are listening. The staff are listening too, and I'm sorry. I know like everybody's nice, and they're like, oh no, we don't care, like, you know, but. Like, I know damn well that they're just like, they're like, yo, this DJ did this last week and he's doing it again this week. Like, we're tired of this guy. And they might be nice and they might hold their tongue to that person. But if they're saying it at all, that's bad. Like, that's a bad thing. And that's going to like ruin my chances of me coming back. You know, so that's pretty much how I look at it.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's a great point of view because, you always want to keep people on their toes. And I look at it as like you want to take them on a journey. So like when I first started, I'm playing like, I might be in like the 70s, like for BPM. I just gradually bring it up, get to 128, and then then we're vibing, we're going. But then you want to bring it back down, and and I like how you said you switch like stuff up, and you want them to like, oh, I heard this from my childhood, like I remember this. I love implementing like stuff like that, and I feel like it's almost people don't look at DJs as like artists, like that they're doing something like creative in their mind, and they're kind of just playing song after song after song. Like we are artists as well in our own way. Even though we're not actually on the spot making that music, like that sound, like we're still doing it in our own way and transitioning. And
Yeah,
there's a reason
very
why
introspective.
Yeah, there's
for
a reason
sure.
why we're playing a song after the previous one. And
Yeah.
or we're,
There's a method. There's a method.
And like people need to highlight that too. Like there's a reason why I'm playing the song. There's a reason why I just played this song, and there's a reason why I'm playing this song.
Exactly.
And then the next song, there should always, I feel like, be some reason. Like if I go up and ask you if this song's playing right now, or if you're queuing something up, if I go up and just go like, why? And you have no answer, like it doesn't have to even be something
why.
crazy. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be like a crazy, like, like cryptic thing. Like, like why? Like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Like if you have no answer, like then, bro, like, what I mean? That's my big thing.
Right.
Because I've definitely seen people where they're just like slamming stuff and they're just like, okay, this is 95 BPM and this is 95 BPM. Good. This is 95 BPM and this is 95 BPM. Okay, good. All right, this is 95 BPM. But if I played you two 95 BPM songs, I could play you totally two different energy songs. And that happens too. Like I've seen cats do that too, where like they'll play and I'm like, dude, the energies are not matching right now. Very different.
Yeah.
Like, like, and there's a way to get to what you're doing, but like, it's really harsh. It's like sandpaper. But it's, I think a big issue right now too is the fact of like instant gratification, and the fact that everybody literally can just DJ with their phone. Because the whole like pass me the aux cord, and everybody thinks they can DJ.
Like that, yeah.
Exactly. So everybody thinks that they can DJ like because they've been in the car, or they've been like at the party, and like don't get me wrong, like sometimes that's how this stuff starts. Like
it is.
I'm not gonna lie. Don't get me wrong. That's sometimes that's absolutely how this stuff starts. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like that's kind of what started the spark with me, by just like playing a couple tracks and seeing how people reacted, and then me going like, well, let's see what they react to with this one. Like, yes, that is kind of how it starts. But there are some people that see that, and just like any sport, just like any activity, they see that and they're like, oh, it wasn't that difficult in the beginning. But then when you start getting into the deeper levels of stuff, like, but however, though, I do believe that it is a skill, like, and like skills are stuff skills is something that can be learned. There's some people that I've seen that have ridiculous talent, but for the most part, to be like a respectable and a solid DJ, that you just have to just build that skill. You don't have to be like the craziest, most insane talent. Because shoot, even people that won Red Bull Freestyle recently within the past few years, very talented dudes for sure. But if you saw some of them and actually put them up against like some of these like technically like these guys that if I were to show you, you'd be like, what is going on here? Like, you know what I mean? Like if you would put them up against that, you'd be like, oh no, he doesn't seem like he's doing that at all. But this guy's still a champion in his own right, because he's putting all of the fundamentals and everything in the skill and showing and showcasing what he can do as a DJ. So it's just a really interesting thing. I don't know. Like this is like, it's like, so it's relative, like these answers that it comes down to like everybody can DJ and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because even outside of actually DJing and the skill, marketing is a whole nother skill you have to learn too. And like somebody could be the best DJ in the world, but if they don't have the proper marketing and they don't know how to market themselves and get into certain venues and play at certain places and have people hear their music or their mixes, then they're not going to go anywhere.
And the thing with that is you are your brand. Like you're selling yourself. Yeah. So I think that's even so much harder than me, as I go and sell our venues, because people come for the food and the music and the nightlife and all the entertainment that they offer. But, you really staying true to yourself and marketing yourself, I think, is a whole nother level of it. Yeah,
no, 100%. I wanted to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? So I know you mentioned, you're looking at other like markets and stuff like that. Do you want to move cities maybe eventually? Or
I can only go based off of like kind of the trajectory that I'm trying to set up with myself right now. And what I would say is right now I'm really focusing on getting back into production again. And mainly not just like edits and remixes. I mean, those are great, but doing like original work and stuff like that, just because like I feel like as a DJ, like you definitely get to a plateau of just DJing, and you can only go so far just DJing. I mean, times have changed. There was a time, like even like when A-Track was in it, when he was his 13-year-old self, and they were battling and stuff like that. People aren't really doing that anymore. I mean, even like even with the Red Bull Freestyles and everything like that, like they're not it's not, the culture isn't like that where people are just going out and just gigging and it's me versus you and like you know, and we're really going for that like metaphorical crown, right? Like it's not like that anymore. Now DJs, you have to be doing something else. You got to be doing something else, and it might not be production, but it's got to be something else. Like name any successful DJ. They're not just spinning records. Like they're either producing or they're doing a podcast as well, or they're doing this, or they're doing all the above, but it's not just one thing. One thing that my mentors have told me is they're like, listen, like if anything, DJing is the catalyst. That's the medium. That's how people get to see like what you're doing, and then you show them what you're really doing. And that's why I always, if you ever look like my page, it always says DJ period artist, because I always wanted to put it in the back of my mind that like you're an artist, dude. Like that's why like I'm focusing on even I want to do more stuff with clothes. Like I was doing stuff with my own kind of clothing brand with like my merch and everything, because I wanted to do something different versus just putting my name on a t-shirt. I wanted something that was gonna kind of catch people's eye and then also get people to like ask questions about it. And I got to get your guys' sizes so I can hook you up. But
oh my gosh,
but it's
please.
literally just like simple like French fries in the pocket shirt, like
fun.
you know, logo on the back. But there's nothing that really like stands out that says this is what it is. It's just kind of like a fun shirt that people have, from what I've been told, they've been seeing, and they've just been going like yo, what is that? Where did you get that? I want that. That's fun. Like you know, just, and
that's awesome.
If that can introduce, like that's my like the whole point of it was like my whole thing was like I was looking at a lot of shirts, and I'll just look at my, like I said in the beginning before we start talking, I'm very self-deprecating sometimes to a fault, and I was looking at shirts that I made in the past that had my logo on it, big fat initials on it, and everything. Thought that they were cool for me and maybe for a family, but then what happens when you give it to somebody and you're like, all right, here, and then what do they say? They're like, oh man, this would be a great sleep shirt.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, you're right.
Like you know, like that's like somebody you give your business card to, and they throw it in the trash right in front of your face. Like they might as well, right? Like, but if you're sitting here and going like, oh, that's a great sleep shirt, you're willingly saying that you will not wear this outside, you know, or you're saying this would be a great gym shirt. You're willingly saying that I would rather ruin this shirt than wear it in my regular rotation. And if I wanted people to walk around and actually advertise something, then I want them to want to wear it. So like my whole thing is like, man, like I don't want to wear my own name, like, so let's flip something else and make it something where it's not my name, like it's make it to where it's whatever they want it to be, like you know. And if they're wearing it and somebody questions them about it, then what do? They start to promote me, right? Because they go like, oh yeah, this is actually my boy K-Fry, like, oh, here's his page, like, yeah, follow him, he's selling the shirts here, like blah blah blah. And that's all the interactions that I've heard of. That's what's happened. So yeah, I want to do more with clothes. I want to do more with production. I want to do at some point, like if it's 5 years doesn't seem like a lot of time, but it's a decent amount. It's a decent chunk of time. I'll say at that 5-year mark, at that point, I really want to start doing stuff with like more of visual and like filmmaking as well. That's awesome. Cool. And going down that path, just because in the beginning, before, I remember in high school, I was doing, my interests were video production and audio, and I was kind of at a fork in the road when it came to deciding what I wanted to do. And I remember saying I wanted to do CGI work. I remember saying that like I wanted to do video work. I remember saying that I wanted to be an audio engineer. Like all these things ultimately ended up going more the audio route. But I've always had that interest in the video route, and that's why like when it comes down to like a lot of the content that I make too, it's majority me doing my stuff, and it's not saying that like it's the best stuff out there or anything, but I'm just saying that I have been doing just because I thoroughly enjoy doing that as well. It's just another creative or artistic outlet, you know. So and also too, it's normally we're used to looking at waveforms, so think about like on the audio term, like you're really in one dimension if we're just looking at waveforms. But now when I'm working with me doing a word play at a club, now I'm working with my audio and I'm working with like actual visuals to look at. So like with me and my ADHD self, then like that's just like it's just like eye candy and just more like I don't know. It's exciting to me. Like, you know what I mean? It's just another artistic outlet that's different than music. That I would love to definitely dabble in. But at that point, maybe about 5 years from now.
That's cool.
That's the best thing about like working in and entertainment, nightlife. There's so many different venues that you could explore. Like, and also like you said, like 5 years isn't the craziest amount of time, but it still is kind of a good chunk of time. Like 2.5 years ago, I never touched a DJ board in like my life, or like I did like at college and so, like didn't know what I was doing at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we're doing like a podcast and I'm DJing every weekend. It's crazy.
Real estate finance for Five Below, and
exactly.
Here I am. So time changes.
You just got to do it.
It really does. Has anybody asked you guys these questions yet, though? Like, where you guys think you'd be in 5 years?
I don't think on the pod, no.
No?
Not yet.
Let's go. We're flipping it around.
Wow.
Because I genuinely want to know.
Interviewee becomes the interviewer. It's amazing.
Yeah, because if we got, you saying 2.5 years, was that about the same? You said 2.5 years ago? That's
a year ago.
Oh, a year ago?
Yeah.
So shoot, if you guys are rolling, then where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about this last time that I started with TikTok by just like opening my phone and taking a video of myself. And that was 2 years ago. And it has blossomed into this whole amazing thing. And now I do social media marketing, videography full time. I absolutely want to keep going with this. Like you said, it's a creative outlet, and making the videos and doing the videography and going to these venues and taking the videos and pictures of you guys and then putting that together for people to see is my DJ set. Like that is where I put all my creativity into. And I have a degree in music. I'm also a drummer. That was my degree. So definitely needed that creative outlet, and I just want to keep going with that. And I want to see where it takes me and what it turns into. And I don't think it's me like owning my own like marketing firm or anything. I think it's me continuing to do what I'm doing, and maybe hopefully start doing it for like big name performers and going to the Red Rocks and doing their videography and videoing their DJs and putting it out for people to see. So I think just what I'm doing now, but hopefully on a much bigger scale as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Man.
Your turn.
God, I'm used to just asking the questions. No.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting.
5 years from now, I feel like some stuff is like hard to scale because you never know like where something could go. But just 5 years from now, I just want to be really enjoying like what I'm doing, and I don't want to get stuck in any certain thing. I don't want to keep, as much as I love playing at the venues I play at now, I don't want to keep playing at the 3 same venues every single weekend for the rest of my career, and I really want to make a actual career out of this. I don't want this just to be something fun I did in my 20s. I really do love this. I love music, and I love just doing this, talking to people, networking, and kind of exploring just different, different venues like in the entertainment industry. Ever since I was little, I was always like really into just music. I also played the drums.
Oh my gosh!
since I was in 4th grade.
You can make a drum line.
I went to a performing arts school where I was in marching band, concert band, choir, everything at the same time, playing 3 varsity sports. I always like having my hands in different stuff. So 5 years from now, I would say if I could just be doing kind of the same stuff I'm doing now, just on a larger scale, I'd be very, very happy. And yeah, and I also just started learning how to produce. Shout out Jules P. He gave me my first lesson last week, and that seems like a lot of fun. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Definitely want to have a few songs out too.
Yeah,
cool.
No, it seems like at the end of the day, that's the way. Like if for everybody that has had longevity in this, kind of that evolving throughout your career is a necessity. Like you're gonna just think about it, even as DJs, like what we're doing right now. Let's be real. There's a window.
Yeah.
There's a window of time. Like, there's probably people even looking at me specifically now, and it's like, dude, like you're still doing this, still doing the DJ thing, but yeah, there's absolutely like a window. Whether like you probably might not have thought about it, and like for yourself. And this isn't me saying that everybody should think of like some final date of when they should be doing it.
Yeah.
But I feel like to have like some kind of window of like, yeah, I want to do this for like and go as hard as I can from this time to this time, and then maybe I want to like do like something that's more on the executive end, and like or maybe I want to do something that's here, and like and the reason might be because like like I got all I wanted out of this, like, you know, here. So like now it's time to move on to the next thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, but yeah, I don't want to get caught just like stagnant and staying in the same place. Like you said, that's my biggest fear. That is my biggest fear of like just stop growing. Because what do they say? Like if it isn't growing, it's dying. Generally. So yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I didn't even know we're all drummers in here. Come on,
it's so funny.
That is.
We need to have a drum battle soon.
No, we'll do like the whole the high school.
No, literally. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, I was doing that all the time back in
definitely
in
got a few detentions for that. It was like breaking markers.
Yeah, absolutely. So funny.
Yeah, it's the beginning of it all.
So we're so used to being on the other side of the party. Let's actually dive into when we have partied. So I want to know who the coolest person you partied with is.
Coolest person I partied with. Oh man, it's tough to think about. So I feel like a lot of times the people that I've been seeing recently, for me, it's been athletes, and then mainly just Philly-based athletes. I think the coolest story that I probably have, and this was right before, this was before like working with the Sixers and everybody, and like I've done events and stuff with them, and like those were really cool. But I think the one that stands out for sure, because it has to do with the time period too. And around the time when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, that still feels like a goddamn dream.
Right.
Like
feels like yesterday.
Yeah, like this, for anybody that's not an Eagle fan, like a Philly fan or Eagles like haters
so
or anything, like I'm sorry for you, but like if you experienced it, and then you would understand why we're gonna hold on to this shit ever.
Oh yeah.
Like I do not care. Like after experiencing that and just walking through the city after we won, like just in feeling the electricity, I don't care how cheesy I sound right now, I understand why people get sports tattoos.
No,
like, I totally get it. Because like that's one time in the city where we're walking through where it literally felt like the city of brotherly love.
Yeah,
like,
no, you're right.
High-fiving people. Hey, fuck Tom Brady, fuck Tom Brady. Like, you know, that's literally what it was.
It's like a hug and a handshake right there,
like, people stopping each other's cars and getting out and dance. I saw people dance battling each other. Like they're surrounded somebody's car. You think that something negative is about to happen. You're like, yo, what the hell? They get out and they all just start like dancing.
No,
It's like a movie.
Like, it's incredible.
Only in Philly, but and only over Philly sports, I swear.
Oh, absolutely.
But keep going with that. Around that time, that's when, you know, the city was on tilt. It was on like 1,000. So events were really happening. They were bigger than they've ever been, I feel like, or at least the energy was that a lot of people had. And really the coolest stuff was, I remember I was able to get in at the ring ceremony after party at Noto.
Wow.
And they had, it was like Uzi, Ross,
NEEK,
all the players.
It's crazy.
Like, I'm talking about like the players, like we're as close as we are right now.
Yeah.
Like, they just got their rings.
Oh
I'm looking at the ring and like it's like as big
it's like
as the
sparkling,
microphone,
like from
right
a
here,
distance. Oh my god.
It really was sparkling.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even kidding.
No,
I'm not even kidding.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just like looking, and I'm just looking down. I'm like, yo, like what the hell? I'm like, he's so close that like I could just pull this off his hand. But of course he's gonna catch me. Like
intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, these are the fastest, strongest athletes like in the world. But yeah, that was really cool. And around that same time, that New Year's, around that time, I think it was either the New Year's after, because if it was the New Year's after, what? That was February was super. So that's how long, like that's how long like that high was. Because literally it was the entire year, even until that like later New Year's. I remember having a New Year's gig and then getting done early, and Ron B hitting me up and being like, "Yo, come by Noto," because he was playing at Noto. He just got done. And popping by there and pretty much ended my New Year's by, it was like me, him, a couple of the others, I forget who else, but then Corey Clement was in there with us too.
Cool.
And he was like, so he was just like pouring Henny shots for people too.
Slay.
Awesome.
Slay.
But or maybe I shouldn't say he was there. Maybe it was a guy that really looked like Corey Clement was there. He really, really looked like him a lot.
Could have been his twin.
He looked and sounded exactly like him. And it wasn't him, but but
That's amazing.
Those are probably like the coolest stories. Other than that, you'll definitely see, like I was saying before, you'll notice and you could see like certain athletes. You can almost like point out exactly what kind of athlete they are. Like shoot, the Eagles, some of the Eagles, like they take up the entire section Like,
Oh, yeah.
like I remember
Right.
seeing them come in at Vesper, and
Oh my
it's
gosh,
like,
I was out.
literally like
No,
these guys are a
literally.
whole doorway, they're massive.
I was out with them at
Um,
Barstool one time. They had the entire like downstairs parlay. They had the entire one side of the room, and there was only like 10 of them. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
So many.
And some of them are like, some of them come out and like they party pretty damn hard. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be like they come out, they chug beers,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
literally like singing country music
Yeah.
and stuff.
That's awesome.
But then there are some of them that are real chill and like they don't want to be bothered, and I can understand that too.
Mhm.
You know, like I've definitely seen times where I saw somebody come out and I would see them because, like I said, they're massive dudes,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, oh look, there's so and so over there. And the last thing that I want to do is like, you know, put the spotlight on them. But
Mhm.
then after me saying that, the dude who has the mic is like, shout outs to so and so. And the
Ooh,
first
yeah.
thing they do is they just get
Yeah,
their
yeah.
stuff up and they
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
you got to imagine, like,
Yeah.
imagine like if somebody was just bothering you all the time. Like,
Yeah,
all
no,
the
I
time.
get
Yeah.
that,
Bro,
yeah.
you just want to chill.
All the
Mhm.
attention's on them.
You know,
yeah.
and I've been on both sides. Speaking of go back with the Corey Clement thing, I've been on both
Mhm.
sides to where I've had that story where it was with the doppelganger of Corey Clement, and then also I have another funny story where it was right after they won. So this
Mhm.
is literally right after they won. We're at a club, and I have one of my friends out who's not from nightlife or anything. So like I constantly like I would I don't want to say constantly, but every once in a while you kind of have to kind of check him on like the little unsaid rules of like nightlife etiquette, especially when it comes down to VIP areas
Okay,
and
yeah.
stuff. You know, like I know that sounds like super bougie, but there's like just certain things you do and don't do for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you're not gonna go in anybody's section. There's no reason for you to be taking a video of people, other people's bottles coming out because it's not your bottle. Like,
Mhm.
don't pick up the money on the floor. Like, you know, stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
simple stuff. And then there's other stuff too. Like, for example, this guy was in a section next to us, and his friends were there. One of his friends happened to be Corey, and this was right after they won. And they're all there, they're partying. We're in a section next to them. We're partying. One of my friends says something, he points him out and is like, yo, that's Corey Clement over there. I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's because they're all just regular people. That's the way that you should approach it, because generally if you do approach it that way, then you'll get a better experience out of it.
Right.
If you approach it the other way, you're 99% of the time gonna get a weird experience out of it because you're being the one that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
You know, like,
definitely.
and I remember just saying, like, I was just like, yeah, like he's there, okay. Yeah. My friend asked me later on, like, should I ask him for a picture? And I just looked around and quickly was like, no,
Yeah.
leave him alone. Like, he's out. He's out. This isn't a place. I could understand if maybe they advertised that he was
Yeah.
supposed to be here,
Mhm.
because then he's getting paid. It's an
Right.
appearance. Like,
An
you know, like,
appearance.
no, he's out enjoying himself. I was
Right.
like, no, we won't do that. And about 10 minutes goes by, maybe at most, and I hear over in the corner, I hear Mr. Clement, Mr. Clement. Mind you, he's
Mister.
like the same age as
Not
us.
Mister.
That's what exactly.
Yeah.
That's what
Mister.
no exactly.
No.
So like my friend is going, Mr. Clement.
Oh my god.
My friend isn't even an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
Getting secondhand
Like, at the
embarrassment.
time, he's not even an Eagles fan. He tells me he wants to take the picture for his little brother who's an Eagles fan.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
know, but anyways, yeah, I'm gonna send my brother a picture of me and some other dude that he wants to meet. Like, look
Oh
at
my
this.
gosh.
But
Oh my
anyways,
gosh.
I hear him yelling, Mr. Clement, Mr. Clement. And dude walks over, leans down because we're in a section below his.
Mhm.
So leans down, is looking over at him, and he's looking down at him. He's like, hey, do you think I could get a picture? And like, Corey looks left, looks right, and it's like, nah.
Yeah.
gosh.
He literally was like, not right now.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
nicest
yeah.
way, and just walks away and
Yeah.
looks. And then my friend looks at me, and I was like, I'm just letting you know, like, you just ruined everything for that night. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like, because also we were actually becoming like pretty cool with like the people in the other section. And the best thing you could do is just be cool. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
it's the best thing you could do is just be cool, because you're not like, because at the end of the day, like, all right, like, what are you gonna become friends with this person? No, probably not. Like, so the best thing that you can get out of this is what, like the story we're talking about, like we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
of like taking shots.
Mhm.
If I would have walked up and been like, holy shit, Corey, take a shot. You know how quickly I
Exactly.
would have gotten pushed out of that booth?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But I'd rather have like a cool experience and a story and no picture and people
Yep.
going like, this sounds like BS, you know,
Yeah.
and then I'd rather have that for me.
Yeah, you get
Then-
a genuine
Yeah,
interaction
absolutely.
with the person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's
Right.
weird, dude. Like, this whole running up to people and just taking pictures with them immediately like they're
Mhm.
animals is weird to me.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
weird to me.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I'll say there's a lot of players are pretty much the only people that I've partied with, or I didn't party with.
Right.
No, yeah, right. They may or may not have been there.
Yeah, that happened to me and Sam last week when we were walking home from Uptown, actually. Right on, like, 9th and Christian, there's this place, Fiorella's Sausage. Or maybe 6th and Christian, something like that. Anyways, they have, like, outdoor seating. And we're walking by, and it's just Tobias Harris for, like, 3 other people eating dinner. And I remember Sam was like, is that Tobias Harris? And I, like, looked. I was like, oh, my God, yeah, that is Tobias Harris. 'Cause you know when you see somebody and you, like, recognize their face, you're like, how do I know this person?
Yeah.
Like,
You don't expect to see
since
that,
it was, like, in
but-
real life, yeah, I was like, I know this guy somehow. Like, I don't know. Did I play basketball with him or something?
Yeah.
I did not play basketball with Tobias Harris.
I wish.
But yeah, Sam said, oh, that's Tobias Harris. I was like, oh, shit. Like, that's Tobias Harris. And then I thought to my head, I was like, should I say something? I was like, nah, he's eating dinner. So we just kept walking, didn't bother him.
It's like, I need 15 a game.
Yeah, right.
I need 15 at least. No,
We're going to trade you soon, man.
Hey,
Come on, you got to step it up.
I want to talk about my Sixers, bro.
Yeah. How'd you actually get into that, though, DJing for Sixers?
Oh, that's a cool story. I love this story. So, pretty much the Sixers. So it started off. I feel like the beginning of it. Well, always been a Philly sports fan for sure. That's one. And to be more specific, basketball has always been my favorite sport. Because my parents would take me there. They would always try to take us at least. That was one cool thing that we did a year growing up. They'd be like, "Yo, we're going to a Sixers game." Like,
yeah,
you know, and I would always look forward to that. Well, I'm a huge Allen Iverson fan. And then when I started to get older and then started like making my own money, anytime that I had the chance to go to a game, I would literally go broke to go to games. Like I remember there's when we had like the Spencer Halls period where we had that or that time where we had like Spencer Halls and like a bunch of other like right before Michael Carter Williams and stuff. We didn't really have many people on our roster, but we still made the playoffs. I remember going to the playoffs and going broke because I knew at that time I was like, we're in a rebuild period. Like we're not even supposed to be here right now. Like, you know what I mean? I was just like, bro, so I'm going to go to as many games as possible. And like we got past the first round because people were hurt on the other team. And then I was like, whoa, I'm going to every game I can. Like, and it was insane. But yeah, that was, I remember going broke for that. And then we didn't do too hot for a good while. Didn't do too hot. Was still going to games here and there. But then one year, a few years back, I kind of had it in me where I was saying something. Where I obviously knew Ghost has been a DJ for a long time. It's probably, I'm going to say about a decade. It's been like what, 8-9 years. And I always knew of Ghost. And I remember saying, I was like, man, I was like, that's got to be an awesome job, bro. Like, he's doing what I love to do, like, in the place that I love to be at. Like, around, like, you know, it's like, I was like, I want that. Like, I want a job like that. Like, I remember just saying that out loud. I remember saying that to, like, two of my friends around me. And then I just remember saying, like, you know what, like, we're going to make this happen. I don't know how, but we're going to make this happen. And I put a tweet out where I said, in the tweet, I probably had the picture of it somewhere. And it says, I will DJ for my favorite team. And it said I will, like, it just said that. It says I will DJ for my favorite team, and I forget how the timestamp I put on it. But then after that, I didn't have any grand ideas. It's like, you know what, like, I don't know how this is gonna work. I was like, but maybe let's just treat it like the club. So it's just a really fucking expensive club. Like, you know, it's like, so I'll just start going. So I just started going to more games again. Like it was the club, and I would literally like I would literally hit people up, be like, yo, you guys want to go to a game? You want to go to a game? You want to go to a game? And everybody would say no. And I'd be like, all right, I guess I'm going by myself. And I would drive to the game. Driving to the game, I didn't even have tickets. And I would just be like updating the app, like on the way to the game, even for playoffs. And I would update the app all the way to the game, pull in, and I would buy my tickets like right before I was about to walk in because you got to think everybody's trying to sell like season ticket holders, stuff like that. When it's not a sold out game, they're just trying to get rid of that ticket.
Right.
And if it's still up there, that price is just going lower and lower and lower. I'm probably ruining this for so many other people that do this as well. But that's probably going lower and lower and lower. And I would literally just watch it go lower and lower and lower. And I would just look at like the best seats. And sometimes I'd get like, you know, like baseline seats for like $100.
Wow.
You know, like playoffs with Trae Young. When we had Ben Simmons, like I was on the baseline, like,
holy shit,
for like
that's
$100.
crazy.
You know what I mean? It's me by myself going nuts. Like,
That's
high five,
amazing.
bro. Like, you know, but I would go to these games and then I would tag Ghost, like, you know, because I'm a fan. First, like, you know, at the end of the day, I'm still a fan. And that's the thing that I've noticed a lot of these workers too. They're all fans. Like they're all fans. So it's fun. But yeah, I would tag him and everything. And then also too, at that same time, of me going, I was I realized I had a ton of Sixers gear, so I was like, man, like, you know what? I'm just gonna start like DJing, and just like I was at the time, I was always wearing jerseys every time I DJ'd, and specifically when there were Sixers games, I would wear a Sixers jersey, and then I'd take pictures and everything, and then I started using those pictures where like the next week when games would come up, I'd almost be promoting it like I already worked for them, and I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know for a fact. Because I was putting like hashtag Sixers, hashtag Sixers DJ, like blah blah blah, like, you know, and I would not be surprised because, and I don't know this for a fact, but I would not be surprised if somebody had sent that or it somehow reached Ghost in some type of way. Whether the algorithm sent it to him on his Discover page, or somebody was like, who the hell is this guy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would not be surprised, because it does seem you got to be pretty audacious to be like, oh, like Sixers DJ when you're not, you know? And I knew that when I was even putting that out there, but I was like, hey, like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, you know, so put that out there. Out of nowhere, I get a message from Ghost. And it's not about any of that stuff, though. It was he just says something like, he's like, hey, I have this event. And we have these guest DJs. I need one more guest DJ. Like, would you be available? I'm like, yeah, sure. I had never really spoken to him before that. The only kind of interactions we had was like me maybe tagging him in something and then him reposting it, or like, you know, like it's like the equivalent of like a thumbs up reaction. Like, you know, nothing, no words or actual conversations. But that was the first conversation we had, and then went to that gig. I made sure to like really show my ass that gig, not literally, but made sure to really just like show off at that gig, and then also too just talked, and in talking like at one point in conversation, like Sixers got brought up, and we were talking about it as because he's a fan too, like, you know, he's a major fan too. Trust me, it's fun having like Sixers, especially when you bust out like memorabilia and he's like, oh, this is that Dr. J signed ball, like, you know, he's a fan too.
That's awesome.
Like, you know, like it's and when talking to him, we started seeing like how he had similar fandom, and out of nowhere he just goes like, you want to DJ Sixers games? And I mean, when I heard that, I was like, of course. I'm like, fuck yeah. But like, I was like, yeah, man, like, you know, but I'm trying to like keep it cool.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
I was trying to keep it cool because also too, like, how many like you've been in this for a decent amount of time at this point now, right? So, but how many promises have you gotten? You know what I'm getting? Like, if I actually received all of the promises that people said, or if I actually received all of the handouts, whatever you want to say, that people said that they're going to give me, I would be somewhere ridiculous.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Yes. But that just happens, and sometimes people, they'll say stuff because, you know, it's just real quick. It's generally it's not really always something personal. It could just be something real quick, like, you know, just in conversation. Sometimes people forget. Like, there's a billion reasons why stuff can fall through, right? But what I'm getting to is stuff tends to fall through. It doesn't always work out. So that's another reason why I didn't want to get my hopes up. Because like, and especially something like that, I was like, bro, like, I'll get my hopes up for this, and then it doesn't work out. It's gonna make me fuck around and hate the Sixers. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm not about to do that. So rather than me get I was just like, you know what? Like, that would be amazing, because that's all I could think. Like, yeah, that would be amazing. If it happens, that would be amazing. If it doesn't happen, like, I understand it, because like, how many people get that opportunity? You know, but what I will say, and I've said this to him so many times, like, he's a man of few words. Talking about Ghosts, he's a man of few words. He doesn't talk much, but he's a man of his word, and he's always been a man of his word for me. Anytime, especially with these situations, he said he was gonna do this, and he made it happen. And ever since, he's always been like, listen, like, you're my guy, I got you. Whatever I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And like, I got to give him props for that. And that's really how it started. I got brought on literally around the same time when James Harden got brought on. And you're
probably going to be there longer too.
Hopefully. Shoot, I can't comment on James. But hopefully James doesn't come back as Fatsuit James Harden. No, I'm just kidding. I really am hopeful for Sixers this season. I'm blessed to be there. It's probably my favorite gig, just because literally, like, I get to see a big part of it, and I'm gonna put together a video with all the fan interactions and stuff too. A big part of it that I really enjoy is when you go to sports games, yeah, you're going to watch a sport, but like a big part of it is really all the stuff around it.
Right.
Like shoot, you go to baseball and like what are these people like? Oh, we're getting hot dogs. We're going here. We're going that. Like you didn't say anything about seeing like your favorite player. Not saying that you're not going for that, but there's so much around it, the entertainment, like all of that, and to be on that side of the entertainment team, and to be like really giving like these gifts of like memories to kids that like I was once one of those kids. Like that honestly is like so fulfilling to me, like to see like kids coming up and they're just excited. I'm a nobody and they're excited to come up and give me a high five because this is their first Sixers game.
Oh
like
gosh.
you know what I mean, like and like but I can't sit here and go like psh, why are you giving me a high five, kid? Like like it's just, but it feels amazing to like be helping like create these memories with these families, watching these people. There's nobody going out there and having a bad time. Like you can't. I've said that's the one job that's one of, I shouldn't say the one only, but that's one of like few jobs where you walk into even on like the worst day almost seemingly, and you're gonna get flipped around. Like you can't help it just because your coworkers are walking, we're getting hyped about the game. You got fans coming in, they're getting hyped. Like little kids are dancing, stuff like that. So like it's so hard to go into that environment and not be happy. So like that is probably like one of my most, it's gotta be like one of my most fulfilling gigs also for like my 10, 12-year-old self, you know, for sure. I had to ask Ghost because after, I don't know how many times I've been into that arena at this point, but I don't take it for granted at all. And I thought that like, you know, I was kind of being like, I don't even know how to, I don't know the word for it, but I thought I was kind of getting myself like being a little too giddy about the whole situation. By being like, bro, like this is time number, I don't know, like 100. And like, I'm still like, holy shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause it's crazy to me. Like, and I had to ask him, I was like, hey man, like, do you ever, and I didn't even get the sentence out. And he's every day, bro. It's like, honestly, it's like, it's amazing. I'm on year 9 and like, I still can't believe it. And like, it's
awesome.
No, it's really awesome, man. It's awesome. Blessed. Feel blessed.
What would you say is your most like memorable nightlife experience or gig?
I'll do 2 bookends. This is actually a good way to do it. So first big show and then most recent big show. I'm kind of match it together because first big show I remember was New York. That was probably 2013, and that was at, I don't even know, I might be off. I gotta see. It was before BB King's in Times Square got. It's not anything anymore. I don't think it is anymore. But it was at BB King's in Times Square, and I was opening up for Joey Badass. And it was like we had like 2 separate rooms. And I remember it was like this whole thing where like it was one of the first gigs where like all the gigs before that I used to get my hopes up. That was my biggest issue. I would have this idea of like what the event was gonna be like, and you're gonna do this, bro, and the crowd's gonna act like this, and bro, this is gonna be it never ever happens exactly how it is, but like that's also okay. Like I didn't realize that at that time, but that was the first gig that I went into where I was just like, you know what, bro, like no, whatever happens, just control what you can control, bring your stuff. Like it's literally I felt like a little ass kid going to school, like just make sure your lunch is packed. Bring your stuff, you got your books, all right, like just be prepared. Like that's all I could do at that time, and that's all I tried to do. And I remember that was the best thing I could do, because also that gig ended up being the first like I don't even know what's called in the terms of like in the DJ world, like it was a movie. Like last night was a movie. Yeah, that was my first movie. So BB King's Joey Badass, that was my first movie. You know, and like that was, and ever since I always told people like I was kind of chasing that feeling, because like this, it could feel kind of like a drug. You know, like performing for people and stuff, and like ever since then I was chasing that feeling, just because of like how the night was going and how like there was a lot of stuff that happened, so like how it actually ended up working out for me wasn't supposed to happen, but it just all ended up, it's pretty much like a shit sandwich turned into like something amazing. You know, and that whole feeling of that night was just amazing. I'll never forget that. And that's one end, that's the beginning. I'll say the most recent one was definitely Hard Rock opening up for Joel and Randy. And that was for like 6,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
it was
cool.
really cool. So like just listening to like all that, like that amount of people. Like I've never been in front of a crowd that big personally. So just listening to that amount of people like sing together was like really amazing. And it was a large Latin crowd, like specifically Puerto Ricans. So literally like all I had to do was just shout out Puerto Ricans and like
That's great.
you know, it was
Know your audience.
really cool. Really
Yeah,
cool.
It's a
So-
special feeling having like control over the crowd like that.
Yeah, yeah. And like and I get where people say like where there's like, oh, that must be hard. But in actuality, like I don't know. Like it seems hard, I guess, like if you've never done it before, but then if you've DJ'd like a few times and then when like I shouldn't say a few times, when you've DJ'd enough and then when you realize like, oh, like the larger the crowd, actually the easier it is.
It is,
Yeah.
yes.
Because like if you think about it, like it's like when you have nobody, holy shit, it's that difficult.
It's so much harder. So much harder.
Or when you have a ton of people and everybody's afraid to like be like high school dance type
Oh
shit.
my gosh.
Yeah,
You know what I
be the
mean?
first
Like-
one to dance or yeah.
Like,
Taking videos of those is hilarious. I'm like,
yeah. See, that's
I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Yeah.
It's all about angles.
Yeah, it is all
It's
angles.
it's
I'm
hey,
like up on
you-
the DJ, like
Yep.
smile for me, like
It's like I need you to move over there.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
like,
like,
you move over,
act
we gotta
like you'll like
space
each
it out.
other.
We gotta spread y'all out. Like you
that's
know,
a mess.
But yeah, no, it's like it's tough. So the larger the crowd, the easier it actually is.
It is,
like
yeah,
just because
I
if you
agree.
think about it, like you have, it's like mass hysteria comes into effect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because when you have this group of like 100 people over here all singing "Titi Mi Pregunto," and then you're gonna be the one person just like
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you're gonna
right?
vibe with it.
Yeah,
You're just gonna-
it's almost it's hard not to. Like it's almost
you
impossible
really
not
got
to.
them bumping
Yeah.
into you.
Yeah. Come on, let's
Like
go.
selfie, say cheese. Like
Yeah.
no, like it's like you're gonna like jump in with it.
Yeah,
So
right.
it is way easier, but I guess it could be overwhelming for some people. Maybe I don't know. I fucking thrive in that.
Yeah,
shit, though.
I feel
the
love
same
it,
way,
though. It's
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
100%.
I can't wait, and hopefully we can. Oh, I should say I hopefully will do that again, and can't wait to do that again because that set was really good. That was a lot of fun.
Cool.
That's awesome.
I have another question. If you had the choice to be in a room for an hour, 2 hours with a DJ, producer, artist, who would it be and why?
Ooh. I kind of got a list of like, could I do like a little list of like a panel of people if we could like get like a powwow possibly?
Do
Yeah.
three. Do three.
Three's even hard. Goddamn. All right. You know what? So I'm gonna say, all right, I gotta be creative here because I only got three. I'm gonna say Pharrell. So Pharrell
Okay.
for one, because I'm gonna explain because obviously the music side for one,
Mhm.
but then also two, like I was a big fan of Pharrell when it came down to the fashion. I'm wearing
I mean,
Billionaire
yeah.
Boys Club right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like literally wearing BBC right now. So growing up, like Pharrell, like how he took music and fashion and he was taking like artists from Asia, like illustrators and stuff.
Mhm.
And, like,
Yeah.
he was doing stuff in hip hop that was definitely a little bit different. You know, and he was cool with being nerdy, you know, like at the time, like literally his group was NERD, like, you know what I mean? Like, so, Pharrell for the musical and, the beyond music side of just his artistry in itself is insane to me. And then this one I'm gonna say I'm gonna throw him out there. It's gonna I guess seem weird. I'm gonna throw Rob Dyrdek in there, and the big reason why is just because I was very intrigued by how he took stuff and how he was able to take anything and literally just mold that into something else. And a third one, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just throw because I gotta throw a DJ in there, and I'm either gonna throw Jazzy Jeff or AM in there.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and Jazzy Jeff's still here. You know, so AM's not here, rest in peace. So I'm gonna say AM, so we can bring AM back and throw him into this powwow because
Dope.
I would love to pick his brain. Because I mean, obviously he's DJ's DJ. He's kind of like the godfather of open
Right.
format music or open format style,
Mhm.
and like true open format style in the sense of like he would literally play like the hottest hip hop track into a Def Leppard track,
Yeah.
and both people that like both types of music would they couldn't help but like it. You know what I mean? Like and that was his whole thing where like he would go up to people and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna play this Queen track like at a club, like a rap club, hip hop club," and they're like, "Bro, what?" He's like, "It's
Yeah.
gonna work," and like he would do
Just
it,
trust
and
me.
it would work. So I'll just go ahead and say AM. So it was Pharrell, Rob Dyrdek, and AM. Really
Cool.
interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll take it.
Cool.
Yeah, that's definitely like very different perspectives too from each person. So I feel like you would gain a lot out of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just gotta throw like if we get a fourth, we're just gonna throw Gordon Ramsay in there. Somebody's gotta cook.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we actually had some listeners write in. We asked our Instagram followers to tell us their craziest night out, and we have 2 good stories. So we're gonna read them, and we want your reaction. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So first one, I'm just gonna read it from exactly what they said. Me and my friends were in Vegas for a bachelor party. On the first night, we all went to a few clubs and got unsafely hammered. All night, we were talking about going to gamble afterwards. We headed back to our hotel at around 4 a.m. and walked our friend, whose bachelor party it is, back up to the room because he needed to go to bed. He was pretty non-coherent at the time, but as we're leaving the room to go to the casino, he handed one of us $1,000 to gamble with and hopefully win him money. And then he went to bed. The rest of us head down to the casino, where we then all decide to put a combined $10,000 on black split evenly between us, including our friend's $1,000 that he gave us. And red came out. We lost 10 grand. We were all freaking out because we just blew a huge chunk of our money and we didn't want to ruin our buddy's weekend. After we lose, we hear a jackpot go off on one of the slots near us. While we were playing roulette, our friend, who we took up to the room to put to bed, somehow made his way down to the casino, put a $100 bill in a slot machine, and hit for $30,000. When we looked over at the slot machine and saw that it was him, it felt like we won the Super Bowl.
It's literally the plot of The Hangover. I'm like, this is crazy.
I'm like sitting here waiting. I'm like, all right, are they gonna be asking for advice? Like, like what? Like,
now what?
You just like, I feel like at that point you just pick him up and carry him around. Like, literally.
Weekend at Bernie moment. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You just gotta carry him.
Yeah.
That's what? Yo, like,
Wild.
let me be that guy.
No, right?
Like,
yeah, right.
God damn.
And then imagine getting married like right after that. Like, that's gotta be the best week of your life.
Like, they
right?
told you at the end that this is fake, right? Because this stuff doesn't.
I was reading it. I was like, this sounds like The Hangover. Like,
this doesn't happen.
I was like she said. She was like, this is literally the plot of Hangover.
Yeah, for real.
Absolutely wild.
It's like shit's getting shittier. Shit's getting shittier.
No, I was.
And
Yeah.
like, yeah, and he's like, I could not imagine, bro. It's like, bang, 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 bang.
I hope he remembers if he was that blacked out. I hope he remembers that because that would be the one thing to remember on that night.
Yeah,
but do you guys gamble at all?
I do.
I have a casino license, so I cannot gamble.
Ooh,
yes.
Good. That's kind of
probably for the better.
Yeah.
I would probably only put $5 in, and if I lost, walk away. Like, but still, it's better I don't.
So, what have your experiences been like with my real question is, why do we always win when we're like hammered? Only when we're hammered.
I feel like you're more fearless.
Yeah,
I have a story actually because I was telling NEEK earlier that my company, when I worked for Five Below, we had our 20th anniversary at Ocean Casino. Rented out like the entire casino, like HQ2, like Jazzy Jeff was playing for us. Nice. My CEO was crowd surfing. Like, it was a crazy night.
That's awesome.
And so we like, my team was like on the younger side. We were the financial analysts for the real estate team. So, and this was like kind of our first like corporate like weekend out. So one of my coworkers, who ended up being like one of my really good friends, got unsafely hammered that night as well with us. And like my VP was there, and like my director, and everyone was drinking. Like, we had like a really good team. And so we were out, and I was like more sober than everybody else. So I was kind of just like checking on my like kiddos, making sure they were okay. I literally turn around to him screaming. I'm like, oh my God, like what did he possibly do? He went down to roulette, threw it on red, and hit like right away. He won like, I forget how many thousands of dollars he won, but it was a lot.
That's
and
crazy.
Then I take them up to bed, and I go into my room and go to bed too. And like an hour later, I get a video from him to our group chat. He had gone to McDonald's, came back. He had the burger on the bed, and it's like a rap song playing in the back, and it's like he's just like putting the money like on the burger. I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I literally was laughing my head off, and I still have that video saved. Like, I watch it every once in a while when I'm having a bad day. Like, that was probably the funniest night ever. And of course, the next day he was like, what did I do? Like, was I okay? I was like, no, you literally were everyone's entertainment in the best way. Like, you killed it. Like, what a great time out for your first corporate night out.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Do? Well, for one, you won $5,000.
Yeah, a lot happened for you, and all good.
Yeah, you want good news, or do you want bad news?
Yeah, I was like, I don't have any.
You don't have any.
Yeah, it was a very funny night for sure.
I was like thinking that this was gonna turn around. That's like, let's just clap for that guy.
Yeah.
No, yes, good job, Brendan. Shout out to you.
Winning, literally.
Yeah. And then we have a second story, which is I will read. So here we go. I accidentally invited 3 of my Johns to the same club. One of them followed me home, even though I told him not to. So I left and I went to my boyfriend but not boyfriend's house. Woke up the next day to find out that the man I left at my house ended up sleeping with my roommate in my bed.
Good for him.
He said, I'm not leaving this night empty-handed, and he didn't. Kind of a slay.
Oh, it's like the definition of getting robbed in a way. You know, like pulled it, just pulled. Yo,
it's like a Robin Hood moment.
Yeah, like it's crazy. But you said I need to see this back. So you're saying, so you're pretty much saying that it was. Is this a girl that went out?
Yeah. So this girl invited 3 guys.
She invited 3 guys
to the same club.
All 3 showed up.
She brought one home.
Yes.
And then the one that she brought home ended up sleeping with her friend. Hey,
yes.
I mean,
she went to the other John's house.
Oh. And left him in like her room.
Oh.
Yes. And then
my question is, what are you mad about?
Yeah.
Like for real. Like I mean, honestly, I guess here's the thing. If the friend knew that like you getting around like that, like everybody dirty. That's all I'm gonna say.
I was like, this is getting a little too
I'm trying to,
in the weeds, guys.
Yeah,
like
I'm trying to break this down. Like all y'all are dirty.
I want to know if she was mad at the roommate. I want to know how that conversation went. Like, who did she find out from? Did the roommate tell her? How did the roommate think this guy just ended up at the house? Did she know him? Like, I have a lot of questions.
I mean, it happened in her bed, so she could be mad about that.
That
happened in her bed.
Yeah,
that roommate would not be my roommate anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that would have to be it.
I totally forget about the fact. See, like, I never had roommates, so like, I totally forget about the whole fact that like, you know, a roommate doesn't necessarily mean it's your friend.
I mean,
it
true.
could be totally opposite.
They could hate each other.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Like that happens. The dynamic might not be the best of friends. Like,
yeah.
You know, like so I've seen people where they're like, yeah, that's my roommate. I know nothing about them. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it was random.
They're like, I know nothing about them.
I would never be able to live with somebody. And like,
we gotta at least be kind of cool.
Yeah,
like, we don't have to be like brothers, but like,
I mean, you share a dishwasher. Cool. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta at least think that like, you know, if I come home with something, then the next day you're not gonna be like, yo, bro, so. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like shoot. I mean, I'm not in these situations. Like, I'm in a relationship, but like, but saying like,
I need so many more details. Like, did she let him inside? Like, did she said not to come home with her, so she left him there? Like, where did she think he was gonna go?
And then that's what I'm saying. Like, what?
Girl, I've got questions.
What state was he in? Was the roommate there the whole time? Did the roommate
come? Did they know each other previously?
Yeah, exactly. Did they have a relationship? Did the roommate come? Because if they didn't have a relationship, and let's say the roommate was already there, and like. It's so weird.
I'm guessing he was pissed that she left.
Right.
And then he was like venting to the roommate.
That had to have happened.
You're so right. That makes a lot of sense.
That makes the most sense to me.
He's kind of iconic though for like inviting all 3 guys to the club.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I feel like
confidence.
Yeah, you invited that. I feel like that's something a guy would do though. Like I feel like guys would mess that up.
Mess that up, yes, maybe, but if they don't, if none of them know each other,
that's true.
And they're coming. What if they were coming with like groups of friends? She was like, "Okay, well, I'm just at this club," and they all were like, "Okay, we're coming too."
That's so funny.
I kind of think it's iconic.
If this is one of one of my friends, like I would just be over, and especially if I was DJing, and
it's like
I
a
do this
sitcom.
I would be just like shit-eating grin.
Yeah.
Bro. Just like you fucked up.
I did something like this once back in college.
You're juggling?
No, so I wasn't like seriously talking to any of these girls, but was it 3 girls? No, I think it was just 2 girls. It was 2 girls.
Chill out, player.
And no. Anyways, so I would DJ the parties at college. Yeah. So I was like DJing at night. So I'm telling everybody, yo, come out tonight, pop out.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm kind of talking to these 2 girls, and I actually wasn't expecting both of them to show up because one of them didn't even go to like my school. And so the one comes and she's like standing me near DJ booth, and I see like all the way down like by the front door, like the other one walks in, and I'm like, oh my god. So I get my boy to hop on to like start DJ a little bit. I run over to the other one. I'm like, hey, let's go upstairs. I'll show you upstairs. And I'm introducing her to people upstairs, and then I'm like, all right, I'll be right back. I gotta go DJ again. I run back down, and that was a fun night, and I winded up not going home with any of them because
I did that.
yes.
I did this once in Ireland, actually. I went abroad with my friend to go to a wedding, and I was on Hinge because I was like, I'm going to get myself a man with an accent, and I'm going to get my Irish citizenship, and then I don't have to ever leave. And so I was on Hinge, and I was like, yeah, we're going here tonight. We're going here tonight. We're going here tonight. 3 of them showed up.
Wow.
Literally 3 of them. Same story. And I had, I got unsafely hammered that night. And my friend ended up talking to all of them, and I was like, you go for it, go. And then we both ended up going home together, not with any of them. But I could have gone way worse. I think it was fine.
Yeah, well,
it happens. Next week, we want to know what stereotypes you have about the nightlife community, and we're going to talk about that. So next week, go to our Instagram and put those in.
I'm gonna get roasted.
Yeah, me too.
God. Yeah, we all are.
And then we'll finish off with our top 5 segment this week. So we're gonna do our top 5 sports to watch in honor of our Sixers DJ joining us today. So NEEK, if you want to go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. So number 1's football for me. Like watching, I don't know, it's just so different than any other sport. You're looking forward to it all week. It only happens once a week, and there's only 17 games in a season. It's just there's so much hype around every game and every season. And I'm a big fantasy football guy, so I love it so much. And then my next one is baseball, because I grew up growing up, I just loved playing baseball and always watched it, and it was a thing I always used to watch with my grandfather, and I always have that memory for baseball, so I always enjoyed putting it on. And basketball is right next to that. I kind of have them tied, honestly, but I put baseball over just because of the family stuff. But anyways, yeah, basketball, I have number 3. I absolutely love basketball, and I really wish I didn't have to rank these, because I just every sport I love in their own way. You know what I mean? Basketball, though, I always do say it's the most exciting in the last 2 minutes, because the whole game doesn't really matter. Even if you have a bet on a game and you're stressing in the second quarter, you're like, just turn it on when there's a few minutes left, and then you can figure it out. And then I got hockey. I just got into hockey the past few years. My roommate's a big hockey fan, so I started watching that a lot. I think it's pretty exciting. And my last one is bowling. I love to bowl, and I have my own customized balls and stuff.
That's great.
But yeah, bowling's pretty fun, and watching it too. The celebrities do it; they do their own tournaments, and it gets really competitive. And the professionals, they don't fucking miss. They're hitting strikes every time. When they do miss, it's crazy. So I think it's pretty exciting to watch. Yeah.
Love that.
How about you, Grace?
Awesome. Okay, football's my first one. I love the Eagles. I think it's probably just because the Eagles. I was telling Nick, I was like, if I was watching I don't know, Saints, Rams or something, I probably wouldn't be as interested, but I love the Eagles. I think the camaraderie is amazing. It's just fun to watch with all your friends. Second one is hockey, but only when they fight. That's very exciting. I don't love the back and forth. It just looks like air hockey to me. Next, I like baseball, but only when they hit it really far into the stands. I think that's really exciting and fun. I love the camaraderie. Otherwise, boring to me. Then I like basketball, but only when they miss a free throw, because that's exciting, because that's their entire job is to get the free throws. Otherwise, not exciting. They go back and forth. And then lastly is soccer, because it's just boring.
But when they score, it's exciting.
Yes. But they always score.
Wow.
Rapid fire.
This is very listen, only wake me up on those specific instances.
No, seriously. I will be doing other things.
Home run time. Wake me up right before every home run.
Grand Slam, I'm there.
How about you, K-Fry?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I thought it was very, they're so specific. I like these sports, but only when these sports are doing this during these sports.
Yeah.
Very specific.
But number 1, I'm going to say basketball. Like I said, always been a basketball fan. It just always feels like a fast-paced sport. Never really ever stopping. Super high demand when it comes down to athletics. And then also to go into it, it's just I've always been, even when the stuff you don't see, t-shirt tosses, all that stuff is it's always been fun to me. Just very entertaining, in your face entertainment nonstop, whether you're at the basketball games or not. Only when you're at the basketball games, it's just nonstop entertainment. Number 2, I guess 2 and 3, it's hard to choose which one. It's gonna seem weird, right? So number 2 and 3, all right. Number 2 and 3 are wrestling. Yep.
Okay,
yeah, we're gonna do wrestling. Talking about WWE, WWF wrestling.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Because growing up, me and my brother always used to be interested in that.
Yeah.
Heavily interested in that, and I think it's fun. It's hilarious. It goes on all year round. It never stops. You know, and then on top of that, I think like the fandom behind it, the spectacle and everything, like it's fun because honestly, like nobody really cares who's gonna win or lose because it's all predetermined, like behind the scenes, right? So like really, I'm just there to see like the show that these people are going to put on. Sometimes it's like it's either gonna be really like cringy moments where like I laugh my ass off about it because I'm like, oh, that's just terrible. Or like they might do something that is pretty damn athletic or looks like it hurts, and I'm like, all right, that looks awesome, you know. So that's fun. Like I said, I like the theatrics behind it and everything too. Like that's always really cool when it comes down to show business. Like that, like it's insane. I don't care what anybody says about it being fake or anything. Like they put on a damn show. Like, and then with that, I put MMA as well. That's like the 2 and 3, just because I've always been a big MMA fan, been to a handful of different fight cards and stuff whenever I can go. And yeah, that's just always exciting to me. And I like the fact that MMA also, like I would always have like MMA playing in the background whenever I was like practicing or working on stuff, because I don't necessarily have to have the sound on. And then on top of that too, I like the idea of it's the one sport where it's like, yeah, it's you against one other person, but in reality, it's a lot of time them against themselves, because like it's like, are you going to outwill this person? And a lot of times it's like you got to make this person quit. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what it is. So it's like they like who's gonna quit first, or who's gonna like figure somebody else's like move out first, like, you know. And on top of that, it's just like it's kind of similar to like what do they say in football? Any given Sunday, right? Any given Sunday. So like anybody, it's only one game and anybody could win, anybody could lose. Like fighting's like that too, where everybody's mortality is the same. Anybody has the ability to hurt the other person. So you have to go in that with the respect of the other person. But the big thing that I really liked about it was the fact that like in other team sports, yes, I have to rely on you working on yourself. And I have to go work on myself, and then we have to come together and we have to work together, right? When it comes down to MMA and stuff, even like boxing, like they just have to grind by themselves and just really hone in on themselves and make them the best that they can be. And it's really just, that's what I mean, where it's always, whether it's in the gym or it's always them versus them every day, all the time, trying to get better. And as an artist, that's kind of what you're trying to do too, is you're just trying to get better every day, even if it's like 0.5%. And then, so that was 1, 2, and 3. 4, I'm going to go with football. Because football, I mean, shoot, if you're a Philly fan and you're not an Eagles fan, like what is wrong with you? Like, you know, like I feel like if that is like Philadelphia Eagles is like the team for Philly. Like, yeah, obviously we love all of our teams, but that is probably like the premier team for all of us. And I mean, if you've gone to tailgates and you don't even need to go to games. You go to a tailgate and you go watch a game just at a bar with friends, and like, and you feel the fandom, you know, and that's always exciting. Always love the tradition of every Sundays, whether it's us meeting up with family, and watching the game, or, you know, going out and getting highly intoxicated in a parking lot. You know, to not go watch the game.
Unsafely intoxicated.
And then, but number 5, I'm gonna throw hockey in there too, just because. I can't, like, I have watched other sports, but I'll say hockey just because, like, I liked lacrosse as well, but lacrosse isn't as televised. Right. But hockey and lacrosse are very, like, I used to play lacrosse, but, like, hockey and lacrosse are very similar. So, like, the formations and everything, it's just instead of one's played down here, one's played up here. You know, but, yeah, I'll throw hockey in there just based off of, like, how quick everything is. And yeah, fighting people's pretty cool too.
So I definitely want to throw an honorable mention to boxing. I love boxing. I don't know why I didn't think of like combat sports when I was thinking of the list.
I don't think so.
But yeah, I love boxing.
You're like, don't sign me up. I don't
So where can we find you this weekend playing?
Shoot, this weekend, oh man, I started the pod by saying I live and die by Google Calendar. So
you're gonna say that. Gotta check the calendar.
I gotta check the calendar. I think I'm down at Hard Rock and AC, and then also at Tradesman's. And then at Vesper Brunch too. So Saturdays, generally every Saturday, it's either me or one of the other brunch boys. We like to call ourselves me, Soho, Millie Mill. We do a video mixing, so like a video music DJing brunch. So like the whole room's wrapped in like screens. So literally like everything that we're doing, manipulating record wise, you're seeing that visually represented as well.
Awesome.
So
that's very cool.
So yeah, but. Yeah, so that's where I'm at, and then it's just DJ K Fry on everything. So I got blessed. So if anybody wants to,
Yeah, go
find
follow
me,
him. Go follow him. DJ
so
K.
yeah,
Fry.
it's just simply DJ K FRY on everything. I got blessed to. I don't have to add any numbers or heart emojis.
Yeah, it's the best. I put Philly next to mine. DJ
No,
NEEK Philly.
hey, bro, that works.
good.
That's still it's easily memorable.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I
that's
mean,
true.
that's the biggest thing.
Grace, you'll remember this when you're tagging us.
I will. Yes, I got it. Don't worry. I follow all y'all anyway, so I'll put it in there.
Awesome. Well, K Fry, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you.
It was a
guys.
really good conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, how long have we been doing this? Does it feel, doesn't
Yeah,
even
I don't
feel
I
know.
think we're going on like 2 hours now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
we've been
love
at
it.
for a while.
I love it. Didn't even feel like 2 hours. No, seriously. First pod. It was awesome. I love it, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you
Awesome.
guys.
Yeah,
Thanks so
and we'll
much for
definitely
your
have you back
insight.
on in a few months.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I look forward to it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yep. And thank you guys for watching. And see you next week. Peace out.